I think for a lot of us who've been in the product circles, there's always a strong belief in how the customer is right, because we've always been trained to tap into customer conversations and take a lot of feedback from them and then kind of say, hey, like, is the customer sharing? Okay, let me hop onto the call and let me just get to that. But looking at some of these examples and narratives that you're sharing, it's also very important that you don't fall into the bias of just listening to what your customers are going to say, because like you said, it's important to study what people do and not what they say. So a small sideline question here, Christian, would be, if you know that these founders, if you've seen them go into the bias, how best can they break out of the bias? Like, how can they understand that they're actually falling into something that they're not supposed to be in?
It's difficult because customers tend to be really loud, and the ones who are asking for something aggressively could be the loudest. And so, we worked with a large fintech. They We wanted to increase financial health and well being, and they
Hmm.
said, "Look, the only thing we're interested in help with is budgeting. This is our number one request on our support forums. Our sales teams need it. We can't move on without budgeting." And we said, "Look, budgeting is a low retention feature. You're gonna get people to start. It's gonna be low engagement. Why? Because budgeting is difficult. It's like calorie counting. People want to do it,
Yeah.
and they don't follow through. And so we said, but we'll help you. So we tested 3 versions of budgeting. So we
Hmm.
said, look, we don't we don't want budgeting not to work and say, "Oh, it was like, it's because we did it this specific way. And of course, if you improve the feature, you can increase adoption." We're like, "No, no. We're just 3 different types of budgeting: category budgeting, weekly budgeting, or just like one number budgeting." And we said, if it doesn't work, bigger problems, right? And turns out when we released it, not only did it not increase any engagement, which is what they were hoping, but it didn't actually change anyone's spend. So people did
Mm.
not stick to the categories they were budgeting, change their spend. And so why did they want to release budgeting? Why were the PMs so focused on this? A lot of it we believe is that customers have words for things that they're expressing because there is no other word in the fintech space for help me with my life, my financial life. Like it's called budgeting. That's how we explain it. We said, I need to budget. Why? Because I'm not paying my bills on time. Why? Because I don't feel like I
Mm.
have enough money. And so, the idea of the customer language is very important, but we don't want to overread into the
Mm.
solution as of that, those words or those language. So I would have folks question kind of what is the behavior you want to solve? And then what is the easiest way you can help the user get to that behavior? So, if we were to redo this, we'd think about, and this is what we pushed to the company before we did it, rules of thumb. So it's much easier for me to say I'm only going to eat out on the weekends. Now
Mm.
I don't have to track how much I'm gonna spend on the weekends. I don't have to track if I have $50 left for this month to do it. All I'm gonna say is I'm only gonna eat out on the weekends. Now it's very black and white if I didn't do it. The progress tracking is much easier than calculating how far I am in my budget. And so you'd get to a brainstorm that's bigger than this is what customers want.
Right.
I'll give another quick story. I just saw this tweet by I think the founder of Gas, who
Mhm. Nikita
said,
Bear? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it was yesterday. But he said, look, one of the biggest feature requests that we had was DMing.
DMs. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we built it and our growth plummeted. And,
Mm.
his kind of hindsight analysis was that yes, people want to message people and say, "Hey, I liked you," or "I didn't like you," or, and go back and forth. And that could actually increase their own value of the app. That is 100% true. His observation was like, it didn't increase the growth of the app because
Mm.
people then stopped kind of engaging in offline conversations and in generally sharing kind of the curiosity that actually the app was built on. So Gas is kind of
Yeah.
built on the idea that I am gonna maybe get liked by somebody, somebody's maybe gonna like me. I don't know who that is. And so this essence of curiosity is the core value of the app. And these DMs seem to undermine that. Now, so that would be an example of generally like questioning if users are requesting something. Yes, they actually may want it. So in this case, I do believe they did want it. Like, I
Mm.
don't think that that's a level of But it may not be the core thing that they get value from, and that could, that
Right.
could change your as you're launching the feature.